Now that we've introduced ourselves, it's time to introduce the first speaker, Manny. You remember, it's the freshman girl, Maddy Willie.
A freshman?
Don't listen to him, Manny. Just introduce Maddy Willie. Good job.
It was Christmas afternoon, and I was in the midst of taking a walk in the Pennypack with my family and my 2 uncles, when I heard one of my uncles shout, "Yo, brother, what's happening?" In that split second, I thought, my uncle's just saying hello to one of his friends in his crazy way. Well, he was calling to his friend, but I had no idea that his friend was Dr. Oz, with his family. When I finally figured this out, my next thought was, oh no, this isn't happening. You see, one of my uncles was wearing this hat of his that snapped together under his chin. And the other one always talked about how he was tight with Dr. Oz. I couldn't quite wrap my head around the fact that I was meeting Dr. Oz in the woods. Meanwhile, I was standing there dumbfounded next to 2 of Dr. Oz's daughters who were texting away. Man, I wish I had had my phone in that long expanse of minutes so that I could have at least pretended to text someone. As the Oz's were leaving, suddenly Dr. Oz turned around and said that he had forgotten to meet everyone and shake their hands. Oh joy. That meant me. I kept my cool, and as I was shaking Dr. Oz's somewhat clammy hand, I just fake smiled it all the way out. Moral of the story: if you see a celebrity in the woods, run. To save yourself from an experience that could be mentally scarring, emotionally damaging, physically incapacitating, or how about just awkward? All right, let's talk about us. And by us, I mean the human race. Isn't that dramatic? Everyone in the world, be it in Europe, Asia, or America, has had to go through some type of awkward moment, and may or may not have known of a good way to deal with it, including yours truly. Now, I might just be a freshman girl. Yeah, a freshie. But I have had way more than my fair share of awkward situations. So from experiencing these moments, like meeting Dr. Oz, I've discovered a few tips or guidelines to ensure ultimate success and a quick escape. Tip 1, breathing is always the way to go. Easy, right? No, breathing is most certainly not an easy task. What if the situation is so extremely uncomfortable that you begin to hyperventilate? That's breathing. Or you just forget to breathe. That's even worse. For instance, when you're taking a test and for some reason nothing makes sense, Maybe because you didn't study. So you begin to hyperventilate, and on top of that, the class is almost over and everyone else has finished the test. Definitely never happened to me before. Depressing moments like this can also pop up when what I like to call the silence occurs. 1 second. That's it. It's the silence. So awkward. This silence happens almost every day in my IPS, also known as science class. The 7 of us are sitting there, deep in our own thoughts, when all of a sudden, Mrs. Shaddig asks, how many moles of H2 make 35.5 grams of NH3 when reacted with enough N2? Nobody, I repeat, nobody raises her hand. We sit and wait for what seems like eternity. In the end, I usually have to revert to raising my hand and taking a wild guess just to stop that silence. Tip 2, if you can't speak, just look. Scenario, I was in the locker area, minding my own business, when a couple of people started talking about the Civil War. It quickly turned into a heated discussion, as heated as a Civil War talk can be, amongst freshman girls who have a surprisingly limited amount of knowledge on the subject. A couple of fairly inaccurate verbal jabs later, and I was feeling very out of place. So I raised my eyebrows and turned to my friend, who was also looking a little out of place, with the look of, is this weird to you? Because it's definitely weird for me. She proceeded to slowly nod her head. Oh, good, I thought. At least I'm not the only one who is feeling uncomfortable in this situation. This tactic can be referred to as the look. It can be very helpful if you're feeling alone in a not so enjoyable environment. Helpful hint, if a close friend's not around to share the look with, talking's a great alternative. Talking can be quite effective because you can just blurt out random, look, there are some red pen marks on the wall. Isn't that interesting? Doing things like this can get people to stop arguing or simply get someone to just be quiet. Tip 3, when in doubt, walk out. Example, I was with a group of friends when all of a sudden somebody said, hey guys, do you want to see my blister? My immediate thought was, I don't really want to be here anymore. But I couldn't just leave, or could I? So that was it. I walked out, creepy, gross, crisis averted. As I was leaving, I thought, wow, I just went with the flow. Way to go, Maddy. I didn't do what everyone else was doing. I was being myself and going with the flow, which is what dealing with awkward moments is all about. My mom has actually been trying to get me to go with the flow in my everyday life for a long time now, but I think I am just starting to catch on. And by catch on, I mean understanding, not necessarily doing, except during creepy, gross moments, of course. Awesome advice. If used, the phrase go with the flow can help in any situation in life, as I have described tonight. Even though life's moments can often be crowded with awkward times, just remember, be yourself and go with the flow. Or fake smile it all the way out. Thank you.